It is a gloomy, humid, extraordinarily damp day in the neighborhood here in New Hampshire. And in a few minutes, we're going to talk about 4 things that kill businesses faster than anything else. And then my secret formula, my secret 4 steps to success. It's a formula I use regularly, not only on my own stuff, but with my clients. It's stuff that I've taught my kids, and has the potential to not just blow your mind in the most literal sense, but blow up your business while we're at it. And before I dive into what either of these secrets are, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to catch up. I haven't been live streaming as often as I had been, say, last month. And I know a lot of people wanted to see my next one because I promised something specific. So we're going to give them a few minutes to get here. I'm tired of the rain. I really am. Tired of the rain. How about you guys? If you're just joining, in a few minutes we're going to talk about 4 things that kill your business faster than anything else. And then I'm going to give you my personal super secret squirrel formula for success. It's the 4 steps that I use every time I create something new, every time I'm trying to make a decision in my life. It's the stuff I teach my clients, and as I said a minute ago, I even teach my kids how to use this because I believe it's the foundation for us to do anything and succeed at it. Business killers should be fairly obvious, but I suspect that many people in this group aren't going to realize the simplicity of them. The first one that'll kill your business faster than anything else is fear, because it usually doesn't come up as I'm afraid. It comes up as I don't feel like it, or I don't want to, or I have some other thing to do, or there's this shiny object over here, or I could be busy creating this package instead of finishing this one, or maybe my people don't want this and I should try doing this instead. It's all fear. And what it means is I'm not sure that I believe in myself. I'm not sure that I trust my gut. So I'm going to distract myself with something else. And I know this one really well because if you haven't heard, I talk about it all the time. I have panic disorder. So fear's like a normal thing in my world. But I know how to recognize it and I know how to get the fuck past it. So what you need to know about fear is it's always going to be there. It's just part of life. It's never going to be gone entirely, and that's totally okay. We're humans, we're not robots. But the way you deal with fear isn't by waiting for it to evaporate magically. The way you deal with fear is by doing shit in spite of fear, surviving, and going, oh my god, I did that. And then fear dies down a little bit. I had a post not long ago about this. It was more related to confidence, but same principle, and that is you're not going to feel confident about anything if you're not doing shit because you're afraid, right? What you're going to do is feel smaller and smaller and smaller and beat on yourself more and more and more, and that's just not productive. So what you want to be doing is feeling the fear and doing it anyway, seeing that you survived it, patting yourself on the back for doing it anyway, and your confidence level increases and your fear shrinks, right? So that's pretty simple. The second thing that'll kill your business faster than anything else is lack of structure, which points directly back to fear, which I just talked about. If you don't have a schedule, if you don't have a calendar, then you're able to distract yourself over and over and over again by jumping from task to task to task. Or, you know, somebody was talking the other day, their ICA might have a tendency to hop on Facebook and tinker around, or then go and clean the house, or think about what to feed the kids for dinner. Just distractions, ways for you to not finish what you are doing, so that you then would have to put it out into the world because, oh my god, that's scary, and what if somebody doesn't like it, or what if somebody doesn't buy it, or what will my friends say, what will my family say? It's all related. The third thing, no surprise, points to number 2, which points to number 1, and that is being easily distracted. If you can't focus and get something finished, you've set yourself up very well to never succeed at anything. Because if you never have anything done, then you never have anything to put out. And if you never have anything to put out, then you never have to be afraid. Do you see how they're connected? And then the last one is letting all of this continue on and on not investing in yourself or in your business to overcome these aspects, which lets you continue to be easily distracted, not have a system, a structure, a schedule, and continue to allow fear to overwhelm you, because it's always easier to stay comfortable in the way you feel than it is to actually radically change. Okay, so those are the 4 things. My phone is telling me that my signal is weak, so I need somebody to hop on here and tell me if I am breaking up or if it's clear for you guys. Let me know what you see. There is a formula that I use to get past all of this. And again, I teach it to my clients, I teach it in my programs, I teach it even to my fucking kids, because it's that critical, I believe, to life. 4 very, very simple things. I'm going to rattle them off really quickly, and then I'm going to tell you what they each mean. Focus, direction, decision, action. Piece of cake. FDDA. Focus. What am I going to do today? That seems simple, right? Direction. How do I want to approach it? How do I want to do it? Thank you, Autumn and Susan. Appreciate that. How do I want to approach this task? How do I want to get it done? Decision is number 3. Well, then you're going to decide whether or not you're going to do it. If you're not going to do it, then you'll fall into distraction. You'll go do something else. If you are going to do it, that leads nicely to number 4, which is taking action. Fucking do it. Simple. Thank you, Casey. I'm glad I'm back now. So 4 simple things. Focus, direction, decision, action. At first, when I realized that it was this simplistic, I was kind of in shock that it actually was this simplistic. I mean, did I actually need to write this down? Did I actually need to teach this to somebody to get their stuff done? It seems just so obvious. But you know what? Without systems like this, people just keep spinning. They keep getting distracted. They keep getting caught up in other things and letting fear override them. So I created the formula. Okay, break it down again. Focus. What do I need to do? Pick the task. What is the one thing I need to do? Direction. How do I want to approach this? Let's say you need to write a blog post. The direction would be, what's it going to be about? Okay. Step 3, decision. Okay, am I actually going to do this today, or am I going to fuck off and blow it off and go do something else and let fear overwhelm me? And then step 4, action. Actually going forth and doing it. This is so mind-numbingly simple, yet so many people can't do it. Focus, direction, decision, action. You got it, Susan. You nailed it. So I totally get the notion of feeling stuck, stagnant, you're spinning out. But if you use this formula, you don't have to stay there, right? It's a choice. You can choose to stay there. You can choose to stop at number 2 or number 3, decision. Okay, yeah, no, I don't really feel like doing this, so I'm going to go do something else, right? But that is your choice. And what happens in our minds, that stupid little lizard brain that we have that keeps us playing safe and small and comfortable, we don't say, oh, I'm choosing not to do it today. We say, it's much more important I get something else done. Or this other thing is far more pressing, or I don't feel good, or I don't look great, or I don't know exactly what to say, or I might screw it up. And so we come up with all these excuses to not do it, right? Susan, simple but not easy. Yeah, exactly. The simplest stuff is never the easiest, but in the end, when you do it, holy shit, is it life-changing. So I get feeling stuck and stagnant and spinning. What most people don't understand is that we are actively choosing that. Now, granted, it doesn't come to us consciously. We don't say, I'm going to decide to fuck off today. I'm going to decide to let fear win today. I'm going to decide that, I don't know, cleaning the house is more important than landing my first client today. We don't actually say that. What our brains say is all of the other things, like being easily distracted and not staying on task, or letting fear of it not being perfect overcome us, or not seeking the help we need to get back on track and get done what we know is absolutely an essential thing to our business, right? So when it comes down to choice, it comes down to something I call radical responsibility. What does that mean? Everything that's done or not done, everything in your life or not in your life, is on your shoulders. It's up to you. If you don't have something that you want, it's because you either are choosing not to get it, or you're actively repelling it. that's something entirely different. That's a mindset issue, and I'm not going to get into that right now. But bottom line is choice, okay? You can choose to give up, or you can choose to get up and go harder. You can choose to be tenacious. You can choose to be persistent. I saw a live stream this morning or last night. I can't remember which. It was one of Kat's, and she was on the beach, Kat Latezzo, and she was talking about how, you know, people will come to her and they say they have this passion and a God-given purpose, or they know that they've found their calling, but when they get out on the internet and people don't respond to them right away, they give up, or they change their mind and they don't know, you know, that it really is their calling. And what, hey Rachel, and what Kat was saying was, are you seriously going to tell me that you found this thing that you're crazy mad passionate about and that you know is your true life's calling, and because somebody didn't like it or comment on it, you're going to walk away? I mean, on what planet or universe does that make sense? It doesn't, right? Because it's about fear. It's not, oh my God, is this really my life's purpose? It's looking for exterior outside validation to tell us that we're okay and that we're doing the right thing. And it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. If it's truly your life's passion and your purpose, if you truly know that it's something that you're meant to do, you're not going to let a thing like likes and comments stop you from showing up and helping people in the way that you feel like you were literally born to do, right? So most of the people in this community have been in coaching for a while. Not everybody. Some of you are brand new. But you've been either a service-based entrepreneur or coach for a while. You've probably invested something. You know, I don't know many people that have invested in coaching to the level that I have, or some of my other 7-figure colleagues have, and that is, you know, to the tune of almost 6 figures a year, because we know we need to be kept on track. But you've probably invested a lot of money. You've probably invested in skills and training. You may or may not be at the point where you feel like you need to either give up or make a breakthrough. I think that many people vacillate from it's okay, I can manage, back to fuck, I've got to do this now, it has to happen. Casey says she catches herself seeking validation all the time. Yeah, a lot of us do that. A lot of us do that. I catch myself doing it sometimes too. But great to have the awareness, right? So you may be at the point where you need to give up or have a breakthrough. And I've been there too. I remember distinctly, and I talk about it frequently, scraping change from groceries, working 80 hours a week, running a business that I thought I had to do because it was the only thing I knew how to do, and that was editing and writing coaching, and discounting my services, and you know, had a great line of clients out the door because I was cheap, but they weren't taking it seriously, and I was 150% invested in it, and they weren't invested in it at all. And I still wasn't able to feed my fucking kids, even though I was working all that time, because I just felt like, you know, who was I to charge that much? Who was I to charge more than, at the time it was $4.29 a month for unlimited editing and 4 1-hour calls. I mean, come on. I know better now, but I didn't know better then. I also had a really fucked up mindset, right? I felt like, how could I charge for something that came so easily to me? If it wasn't hard for me to do it, then I didn't deserve to make money. You know, because we have to work hard for money. I know better now. But that's a whole other story. The point is, I remember what that's like. And I remember the struggle and the feeling that there had to be another way, but not having a clue how to approach that or what it would mean. And, you know, did I have to go back and get a job? And, you know, if this is what it meant to be an entrepreneur, maybe it was just time to quit, because I had basically become a slave to my business, and I probably had less money than I did when I was a reporter. And I mean, who the fuck wants that? So those 4 steps: focus, direction, decision, action. Those are the 4 things that I use over and over again, like I said. If you actually follow that formula, not only is it life-altering and mind-blowing, it's potentially business exploding as well, because it makes you take responsibility for every action or inaction. If you choose to see your fear or your distraction or your lack of ability to use a calendar, or, you know, whatever the fuck is going on in your head, if you choose to see that as first and foremost a choice, but secondly possibly an excuse, your perspective shifts. And then you can start to look at where you are holding yourself back, right? Because it's not about if people are liking and commenting. It's not about nobody likes me, I have no friends, I should go eat some worms. It's not about I need somebody else to tell me that I'm okay and I'm doing the right thing. You either believe in what you've got and what you're doing, or you don't. You either believe that it's important to share your skills and help people, or you don't. It's either or. It's one or the other. So, you know, focus. What do I need to do today? Direction. How do I want to do it? Decision. Am I going to do it? Yes or no? And if it's a yes, then go and take action. And if it's a no, realize that is the choice to not take action. That is all on you. It's not because you were born under a bad sign, or you're not finding the right communities, or I don't know, whatever other excuse you can come up with in your head. And again, I do it too. You're not alone. It's because you are choosing it. And when you can process that everything in your life, again, is on your shoulders, it's up to you, it's your responsibility, life changes. And it changes dramatically. The bottom line is you have to do it, whether you feel like it or not, whether you want to or not, whether you're sure it'll work or you aren't, whether you're certain nobody's going to like it or not. I mean, it was either something that you're born to do and you're madly in love with and you know that you can help people, or it isn't. It's an either or. There's no gray area there, at least not in my world. When you are committed to cutting out those excuses, yeah, Rachel says the other crazy thing we do is get super busy taking action on all the wrong things. Yeah, distractions, right? Easily distracted, no discipline, weak, shitty mindset, whatever it is, it's on you. It's nobody else's fault. But when you're committed to cutting out those excuses, when you're committed to what I call radical responsibility, things change, and they change fucking fast. And that's the beauty of it. If you don't have the business that you want, then you know you need to make a change, right? So again, focus, direction, decision, action. What do you need to do? How are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? And if the answer is yes, then go do it. If the answer is no, then understand you're choosing inaction. You're choosing to not support yourself. Harsh, maybe, but when I apply that formula to my life, this is where it got me, right? In everything. I'm not just talking about business here. I'm talking about in my relationships with my kids and my husband, and how everything flows now. I'm in charge. It's my responsibility. I either have it or I don't. And if I don't, it's because of something I choose to do or not do. That's the bottom line. Shanshira, how the hell are you? Okay, so let's assume that you're in this group, not just to pitch to people all day long, since I changed the rules yesterday, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But let's assume that you're here because you also need some help. Hey, Kalita. If you don't have the business of your dreams and you're not sure what needs to happen next, that's what this group exists for, right? It's a group of 13,000 women entrepreneurs who all want the same thing. So it would behoove you to not only hang out and read posts and get the free content, but also to ask questions and get the help that you need from the brains that are in here. Susan says, harsh but super necessary. Thank you. I will live by FDDA action. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Shanshira is fabulous. Rachel says, my husband. Yay. You guys are great. Okay, so let's get down to it. This thing that I have for the budding entrepreneurs. As I am doing this live stream, I'm going to walk you through how this mindset works. Ready? In my head, I've been in business online for 9 years. I've been doing mindset work, serious mindset work, for probably 2.5. Okay, which is like a blip on the screen compared to some people. But for 2.5 years, I've been doing this mindset work. I'm going to walk you through my thoughts as I'm doing this live stream. I'm about to announce something that I have talked about before, that I feel like everybody and their mother already knows about, and I can't believe I'm still talking about it. But because I also know the formula to success, and because I have had this conversation with myself many times before, I'm going to announce this thing anyway. And so here's the thought process. Kalita says she's at about a month of serious mindset work. It makes a world of difference. So as I'm having these thoughts of, I can't believe I have to talk about this again. It's all I talk about. They must be sick of hearing about it. Everybody certainly knows by now that this is what I do, or this is what's available, etc., etc., etc. The other part of me says, listen, asshole, you got to practice what you preach, which is the following, and I know it works. Seth Godin always says, first impressions are priceless. The problem with being on the internet is you never know when a first impression is going to take place. So, even though I feel like I've talked about this 100 million times, there are people who will watch this live stream now or later and say, oh, I didn't know she did that. My own mother doesn't know what I do for a living. We did a live stream on that from her house a few months ago. That's a whole other story. So, I know that I need to show up and talk about this again. I know with every fiber of my being that what I'm about to share changes lives, because I've seen it happen over and over and over again. I know that it's ridiculously valuable and ridiculously affordable. And I know that I'm going to stop there. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, there are all these reasons that my brain says, I can't believe you're doing this again. And then there are all these other reasons the other half of my brain says, you know the formula, you have to do it, and that's just the way it is. Just because you feel like you talk about it all the time doesn't mean anybody else even knows it exists. So if you ever feel that way, like you're posting 1 million times a day and talking about something all the time and you can't believe you still have to talk about it and why isn't anybody buying, please know you're not alone. I've been at this for 9 years and I still have the same conversations in my head. Khalid is laughing at me. My 5-year-old daughter knows you by now when you're on its quiet time. Aww, that makes me feel really good. Although I'm sad that you're making her be quiet. Okay, so what am I announcing? What am I talking about? I'm talking about something for budding women entrepreneurs. You may be in your 9-to-5 and choosing to get into business on your own. You may be an entrepreneur. You have been for the past 1 to 2 years, but you're looking to get traction and get some clients through the door and make some money because you can't figure out what isn't working in your formula. Or you may have been in business even more than 2 years, but you know that your system is flawed because you thought you'd be further along by now. So those are the things related to what I'm about to talk about. Casey says, me, budding entrepreneur. Okay, good, then you're in the right place. So the thing that I'm talking about is called CCC. That's the abbreviation. It's called Clarity, Clients, and Cash. It's a registered trademark program that I created 2.5 years ago. And it has run its course. I ran it twice in 2014, and I ran it twice in 2015, and I ran it twice this year. And I announced in May, when the last round started, that it was the last time, which it was. It's the last time. And what that course entailed is 12 weeks with 12 guest experts and me, covering everything that you need, from mindset to pricing to packaging to visibility online and in other platforms, to taking radical responsibility like we just talked about, to how to mitigate fear, to finding clients, to your first $5,000 month, to blogging for business, repurposing content, you name it. You pick something that you're struggling with in business, and that course covered it. And what happened with the program, you can't wait, Rachel. What happened with the program is it morphed into this thing that became, I guess, just what I would describe as a content bomb, right? It was just ginormous because it was not only all the material from me and all my years online, it was also all of this material from every guest expert. Oh, there's a whole copywriting course inside of it that Nikki Groom wrote. And if you don't know who Nikki Groom is, shame on you. Go check out the F Factor. F as in female, the ffactor.com. That's Nikki Groom. Anyway, so we have that in there. And then, you know, I said to Joe Gifford, would you like to be a guest expert? I'd really love to have you talking about blogging for business and repurposing content, because I know a lot of women struggle with that. And she was, of course, all in. And then she came back with a course that rivals the size of CCC itself, that's embedded inside CCC. So the long story short is this just became a massive amount of content. So what we did with last year, we went back in there and we said, okay, we've got to streamline this. We've got to figure out a way that people are not so overwhelmed. Let's try and break it down and present things in a more simplified form, and then we'll just include a lot of bonus material. I haven't even talked about the bonus material yet. And so we did that, and the people who took it the first 2 times, as it were, you know, as a content bomb, came back and they were like, we're still going through material. So I have some people who went through it with me 4 times live. The program as it existed included, you know, weekly live calls with me, plus the Facebook group, which I pretty much lived in to answer questions. I myself went in there regularly with Nikki Groom and helped people write their copy for their web pages. I mean, this course is no fucking around. We were down in the trenches with them. And so they were still overwhelmed, even though we streamlined. So I said, okay, this last round is the last time I'm going to run it live. It is still massive. There's still a ton of value and information. We've got to let these people process this. But at the same time, I need to keep them motivated and excited. I don't want them to feel like they're falling behind. What the fuck are we going to do? Hey, Becca, how you doing? Rachel says CCC is the best investment she's ever made in her own development and learning. That makes me very happy. And I've heard that many, many, many times over, which is fucking awesome. As the course stood, and it's not available anymore, but as it stood, we sold those for $2,500. When we ran the last one in May, we said something needs to change. Not just because it's overwhelming for people, but because we want to make sure that people are actually finishing. We want them to get the value out of the material. Again, I don't want them to fall behind. I don't want them to feel like, you know, they're left out on the cold. And I know that every time somebody uses this material, it's never one and done. It's stuff that every time that you go back to it, let's say you do it today, and then you go back to it 6 months later and you do it again, you're going to get the same benefit from it that time that you did the first time. It's material that, well, how did I start this live stream? We talked about perspective and questions to ask yourself and taking radical responsibility. Everything that I teach in that program is the same thing. So as your perspective and your knowledge base changes, as your experiences change, you can't help but have different answers to the same questions, right? And they're purposely put that way, is highly provocative. Anyway, long story short. So the team is back together now. And we're looking at this program, we're saying, okay, what are we going to do? And the answer is, we're going to streamline it again. We're going to still include the same massive bonus material, but we're not going to run it live. Why? Well, partly because I've run it 4 times and I need a little break, quite frankly. But also because if running it live and having a weekly call made people feel like they were behind, maybe we can drip out content and allow them to digest it on their own schedule while keeping them motivated, while making sure to check in the accountability forums, while motivating them via email. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it. The other thing that we're doing is we are allowing the people who purchase this in-depth self-study version, if it were, to join the same Facebook group that the women who went through it live did. And the reason that we're doing that is I polled the community and I asked, and the consensus was they remember what it was like to join and already have women in there who had gone through the program, who could cheer them on and support them and let them know that their struggles were normal, etc., etc. And so we felt like we should do the same thing for the new people that come in. We should let them have that experience and know that they're supported. You like that? Yeah, I like it too, Becca. I think it's just really smart. It doesn't make sense to segregate the two when it's similar material. So even though, you know, they're not going to have live calls with me per se, they have access to all the same material. They still have access to me in the Facebook group, but they also have that community of 200 and some odd women who have had that same experience already and are there to help them and make sure that they don't feel defeated or that like they're behind or they can't get it done. And I realize as I'm describing this, I'm making it sound like a course that's like a mammoth, and it's really not. It's not, I promise. What it is a program that you use over and over and over again. It's never a one and done. And to me, that's the beauty of it. If I can take a course, digest everything the first time through and never use it again or get value out of it again, then why do I care about it? right? Seems kind of lame. I'd much rather have something that I can go back to again and again and lean on many, many years out. Interestingly enough, the exercises that are in there are things that I do myself every day or when I'm creating a new program, including mindset practices and affirmations and mantras. The pricing formula that I use and the packaging formula that I use, those are my personal formulas that I created for myself and for my own business that have helped many hundreds of women figure out how they want to price and package their stuff when they're stuck. So it's cool. Okay, all of this is to say that at the end of this month, CCC lives. It's back, August 31st. Same experts, same materials, same modules, same in-depth courses, including an entire course on how to write copy for your website. And I'm not talking about somebody who just stands up there and lectures to you about write a sentence this way. I'm talking about somebody, Nikki Groom, who specifically wrote a course on how to write provocative copy that sells. And she wrote it specifically for CCC participants. It's kind of a big, hairy deal. You know, blogging for business. What are you blogging about? Who are you blogging for? Where do you want to guest post? Jennifer Blanchard, the guest post guru, wrote an entire program on how to get your guest posts posted on websites that you've dreamt about. Mind Body Green, Huffington Post, wherever your audiences are. It includes stuff about how to pitch these programs and how to pitch to the big online magazines that you want to appear on. You know, if you don't know how to write a letter that's going to get an editor's attention, that shit is invaluable. I've also got bonuses from Alexis Pierce on how to find your passion and your purpose. You might have a business idea, but you're not really sure that it's something you're madly in love with, then you want to look at her bonus material for sure. I've never seen anybody drill down the basics the way that woman can. And by the way, she used to work for the federal government doing this for a living, so she knows her shit. So we've got all kinds of crazy good stuff in this massive program that we're going to drill down again for the third time into a very specific, dripped out content, 12-week process. And I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. Somebody post this link for me, or I can post it after. It's RebeccaTDickson.com/CCC. Piece of cake. 12 weeks, unadulterated, unlimited, I might add. I am in Facebook all the time. And you're surrounded by a community of women who not only have already been through an experience like this, but who want the same thing that you want. And what does that mean? It means they know how you feel. It means they understand the way that you are struggling intimately because they've either just been through it or they're in it with you right now. That's big. And it's hard to find. You know, it's not like you can sit around the dinner table and talk to your spouse about what it's like to be an entrepreneur and how nobody's liking and commenting on your stuff. They look at you like you're crazy, like, what the fuck? My husband used to come home and say, you're on Facebook? I thought you were working, right? They have no concept. They're 9-to-5ers. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Shinshir. I appreciate you posting that link for me. So I think I could probably talk about this course for another hour, but I'm not going to do that. I want you to go and look at it. I want you to check it out. Thank you, Becca. I want you to spend some time considering if this can help you move forward. I can sing its praises all day long. I would strongly encourage you to talk to people who have taken this program, and they will tell you their own personal journey through it. It's not what you think. It's not just another course. Oh, and you know what else I didn't talk about? This program was $2,500 when I ran it live. Because we have turned it into a self-study and it no longer has the live calls with me, even though I will be in the Facebook group, we've cut the price. It's $750. $750. Think about that. Do you think you can find a program for less than $750 that's going to change the face of your business and change your life and change the way you think? I'll tell you right now, the answer is no. Why did I do that? Because this is the first time that we've run it as a self-study, so you can consider it a beta price if you'd like. It will go up, I guarantee you. The next time we run it, the price will go up. But in the meantime, get in there and take a look. And do me a favor, comment on this thread after you've taken a look. Ask me questions or email me. My email address is on that page. Let me know what you think. What could make it better? When you're looking at the page specifically, what catches your eye or what do you not see? Again, this will be, we've run it 4 times live, so this will be the 5th time I've launched this program, but it's the first time that I'm running as a self-study. So it's got a little bit of a different angle to it, and I'm pretty excited about it. All right, let's wrap it up because I've been on this thing forever. What's the 4-step formula? Who remembers? Focus, direction, decision, action. You can implement this in anything. Focus, what am I going to do? Direction, how do I want to do it? Decision, am I going to do it or am I going to blow it off? Oh, I decided I'm going to do it? Okay, action, go and do it. That's it. And then you got to stay focused. I hope you use that. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. It's nice to be back. I haven't been here in a while, seeing all your little hearts and smiles. And I want you to go check out CCC, RebeccaTDixon.com/CCC. We're going to start on the 31st, and I'm pumped. I'm pumped to change your life. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.